And sweetie, pour yourself a glass of whatever makes you feel good and pull up a chair. I've been watching you lately, and we really need to have a little heart-to-heart about what's been going on in your circle. And you just had that massive win, didn't you? Maybe it was that corner office promotion you've been chasing since your 20s, or maybe you finally closed on that gorgeous house in the suburbs after a brutal bidding war. And you were glowing, your heart was racing, and the very first person you wanted to call was your bestie. You expected a scream of joy, a let's pop the champagne, or at least a genuine, I'm so proud of you, honey. But instead, what did you get? You got that weird heavy silence over the phone. Or even worse, that backhanded comment like, wow, you're so lucky. It must be nice that the company is so desperate they're just handing out titles now. Did you feel that, sugar? That sudden drop in the room's temperature? That icky feeling in your gut isn't indigestion. It's your intuition screaming that something is very wrong. Now, I've lived 51 years on this earth, and if there's one thing your auntie knows, it's that not everyone who wanders into your life is actually there to see you win. Some people only like you when you're down in the trenches with them, because the second you start climbing out, they feel left behind. And let me tell you a story from about 15 years ago, back when I was living in a tiny apartment in New York and trying to make it in the marketing world. I had this friend. Let's call her Linda. We were struggling together for years, sharing cheap takeout and complaining about our nightmare bosses. Then I finally landed a huge contract that changed everything. I was over the moon. I called Linda, thinking she'd be the first to celebrate. Instead, she said, "Oh, that's great. I guess you won't have time for the little people anymore." See what she did there? And she turned my hard-earned victory into a character flaw. This is the classic backhanded compliment, honey. It's like a drive-by shooting of your self-esteem. They strip away your 5 o'clock a.m. coffee runs, your late nights at the office, and your sacrifices, and they call it all luck. Why? Because if you earned it through merit, it means they are falling behind. But if you just got lucky, they can sleep better at night. Listen, honey, that's not how it works. And Linda wasn't celebrating me, she was dismissing the grind. I realized that when you hear a backhanded compliment, you don't need to justify your hard work to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. You just look them dead in the eye, smile, and say, "Thank you. I worked incredibly hard for this, and it feels great to see it pay off. Own your shine, sweetie." And don't you dare dim it just because it's hurting their eyes. But listen, that's just the surface. And there's a much sneakier type of friend I've encountered, the rescue angel. These are the ones who are the first to show up with tissues and a tub of ice cream when your life is a total mess. When you're going through a nasty breakup or you lose your job, they are your shadow. You think, wow, they really have my back. But here is the cold, hard truth. Auntie learned the hard way. They don't love you. They love your misery. In psychology, there's a fancy word for it, Schadenfreude, finding a twisted pleasure in the misfortune of others. As long as you are the hot mess, they feel safe, stable, and superior. But the moment you find a healthy partner or land that dream job, watch how fast they vanish into thin air. Suddenly they're too busy for brunch. And your success is a threat to the hierarchy they built in their head, where they are the together one and you are the project. A true friend doesn't just hold the umbrella when it rains. They're the first ones out in the sun dancing with you when the clouds clear. If someone is only present for your tragedies, but absent for your trophies, they aren't a supporter, they're a tragedy junkie. I remember another time when I shared some good news at a dinner party. I looked over at a friend and saw it, the glitch in the matrix. For just a split second, before she forced a smile, her eyes narrowed and her lips tightened into a thin line. That, my dear, is a micro-expression of resentment. It's involuntary. And their soul is recoiling from your joy before their social mask kicks in to say, "Oh, that's great." And watch their body language, too. When someone is genuinely happy for you, they lean in. But a jealous friend? They'll do the physical pullback. They might suddenly become very interested in their phone or start looking around the room as if they're searching for an exit. And the air in the room suddenly feels heavy, doesn't it? If you feel like you have to tone down your excitement just to make them feel comfortable, that is a massive red flag. You are basically apologizing for your existence. Never apologize for the space you take up in this world. Now, you might be asking, "Auntie, why are they like this? We've been friends since college." Well, honey, it's rarely actually about you. And your success is a mirror, and some people absolutely hate what they see reflected back at them. When you move forward, you are unintentionally highlighting their own stagnation. Your growth is a constant reminder of the risks they haven't taken and the dreams they've let gather dust. They think success is a pie with limited slices, and if you have a big piece, there's less for them. But listen to me. Their reaction is a reflection of their internal struggle, not your character. You are not a therapist, and you certainly aren't a human sacrifice for their self-esteem. And don't you dare shrink yourself to fit into a room that they are refusing to grow out of. So how did I handle this without starting a huge, dramatic Real Housewives confrontation? I realized that a big fight just drains your battery even more. Instead, I used what I call the low information diet. I didn't have to cut them off coldly or make a scene. I just stopped feeding them the juicy details of my wins. If they can't handle your light, stop bringing the flashlight to their house. I started protecting my peace like it was a precious jewel, because it is. If a relationship starts to feel like a chore or an energy drain, it is time to prioritize your mental health. You aren't being mean, you're being selective. You are curating a life that supports the person you are becoming. But honey, don't let a few bad apples make you bitter or make you want to hide your achievements from the world. Because while there are people who will try to pull you down, there are also golden people out there. This brings me to my favorite test, the bright day test. We've always been told that a real friend stays with you during your darkest nights. And while that's true, Auntie believes the real test of a soul is whether they can stand by you during your most brilliant, blindingly bright days. It takes a very secure person to look at your success and say, "Your win is my win, let's celebrate." Those are the people you keep in your front row. Those are the ones who make the journey worth it. I want you to imagine your life as a beautiful garden. You can't let weeds grow just because they've been there a long time. And sometimes you have to pull them out to let the roses bloom. Letting go of toxic people isn't a loss. It's a massive gain of space and energy for your future. So next time you feel that vibe shift, don't ignore it. Look at your inner circle and ask yourself, who truly smiled when I told them my good news? If you realize some of those faces were forced, it's okay to take a step back. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing a version of yourself or a group of friends that no longer fits. Why, you've got so much ahead of you, and I don't want you carrying extra weight that's only there to slow you down. Surround yourself with people who aren't afraid of your light, but instead bring their own matches to the party. And you're doing better than you think, sugar. You are enough exactly as you are right now, success and all. Your auntie loves you. See you next time, honey.